trouble with it. So let's investigate. When you look at this, it might look scary, right? So you might try, for example, the first thing some of you might try and do is try and find some end product for those. But it won't work. Let me show you. If you try and solve, for example, if you try and factorize this and this, so 3x squared minus x minus 6. So we're looking for our product, which is negative 18, and our sum, which would be negative 1. However, if we split negative 18 into its factors, so negative 18, well, it could be 18 times 1. I'm not caring about the signs now. Let's just put the numbers in. So 18 times 1, I could have 9 times 2. It could also be 6 times 3. It could also, are we going to repeat now? Yeah, I think if we go now to the other side, it's going to be 3 times 6, 2 times 9, and 1 times 18. So those are the possibilities. And I'm looking for product negative 18, so one of them has to be negative, and I'm looking for sum negative 1, so the larger one should be negative, so I should make the larger one negative. And then if we look at those, look, negative 18 plus 1, it's negative 17. Negative 9 plus 2 is negative 7. Negative 6 plus 3 is negative 3. So none of them will give us a sum of negative 1. So that is not going to work. So what do we have to do here? Well, it's a quite different strategy. So in this case, what's going to help us is looking at those squares and this negative sign. So let me show you something. If you can visualize straight away, that's fine. But let me show you, what if I assumed, so let A be 3x squared minus x minus 6, and let B, so I've chosen all of this to be A, and I'm choosing all of this to be B. So it would be 2x squared minus x plus 3. And now if you notice, well, now we have rewritten this as a squared minus b squared. This is not, well, 100% necessary, because if you can visualize that this is something squared minus another thing squared, what do we have here? A difference of two squares. So difference of squares. This should be a minus b times a plus b. So what we're going to do here, we're going to basically subtract a minus b, and we can sum a plus b. So what would that be? We can either continuing just putting those back here, or you could work with those straight away if you can see it. I will move from here, okay? So a minus b squared is this, a squared minus b squared is this, and now we're going to expand each of those brackets. Alright? So that's going to be, now a is all of this, 3x squared minus x minus 6, that's a, minus b. So we're going to change all the signs of what's in here. So negative 2x squared plus x, remember we're changing the signs, minus 3. So that's this first part. The second part is a plus b, so it's this plus this. So it's 3x squared minus x minus 6 plus 2x squared minus x plus 3. In this case, we haven't changed any of the signs because it was positive. Here it was negative, so we changed this turned negative, this turned positive, this turned negative. And now collect like terms in each of those sets of brackets. So 3x squared minus 2x squared, that's x squared. Minus x plus x, I can cross those out. Minus 6 minus 3, that's minus 9. And we can see another difference of squares here, right? X squared minus 3 squared. But let's first finish off this second part. So 3x squared plus 2x squared, that's 5x squared. Plus x, minus x minus 2x. And negative 6 plus 3, take away 3. We're getting somewhere now. So x squared minus 9, this is x squared minus 3 squared. So that's another difference of squares. And the rest, 5x squared minus 2x minus 3. So let's solve this. So I'm looking for sum, negative 2, and product, negative 15. So negative 15, it could be written as 3 times 5. And if 5 is negative, we would have negative 15. And if we do 3 minus 5 is negative 2. So it's 3 and negative 5. So this second part here would be x minus 5 and x plus. Right? If you don't do it straight away, that's fine. That's fine. What you could do is splitting the middle term. So let's do the long way, and we're going to reach the same result. So here, that's the difference of squares, so we can rewrite this as x, take away 3x plus 3. And here on the second case, we have found our split terms to be negative 5 and 3. So 5x squared. Now, since this is negative 5, I'll keep it together with the other 5. And we're going to have plus 3x plus minus 3. Right? So I've split this term into the terms that I found doing sum and product. So now we can combine those two. So those two first ones, they would be 5x, x minus 1. And those two here, they would be 3x minus 1. So we can see that x minus 1 is a common term between those two. So our final answer would be, we can just repeat this. So x, take away 3x plus 3. Right? Multiply now 6x plus 3. X minus 1. And that's the final answer. Alright, so another doubt that some of you had was with this question, 4x squared plus 19x minus 5 over 9x squared minus 16 divided by x plus 5 and 3x take away 4. So it's basically two fractions, two algebraic fractions, and we have a division here. Anytime we have a division, so we're dividing fractions, we can flip the second one and change the sign for a multiplication. So we can rewrite this problem as 4x squared plus 19x. So the same thing does not change, right? The first fraction will still be the same, 9x squared minus 16 times, and then we flip this one. So what was the denominator will become the numerator, and the numerator will become the denominator. So our denominator was 3x minus 4, and our numerator was x plus 5. So there we go. Now we should be able to factorize this and try to find common factors. Alright, so let's try and factorize this first. So let's go for 4x squared plus 19x minus 5. So we're looking for sum 19 and product negative 20. That's easy, right? So product negative 20, we would need negative 1 and 20. And then if we sum them up, we get 19. So this can be rewritten as, remember, we don't have any common factors, that's why we didn't factorize anything before. So we can split this middle term, 19x. So we can split this middle term if you divide 20x by 4x, you get 5, and it's positive. Now, minus, if I change all the signs and put the minus in front, that's okay. So minus x plus 5. If I expand back, minus x minus 5, I get back to what I had before. Now I can collect x plus 5. And then what do I have left? 4x and minus 1. There we go. So this is our first factorization. Now let's do the second one. Let's look at this one down below. X squared minus 16. This is interesting because it's simpler than it looks. We can rewrite those numbers as squares. So here 9 is 3 squared. Minus, and 16 is 4 squared. I can get those two together, right? 3x squared minus 4 squared. So this is difference of squares. So it should be 3x minus 4, 3x plus. Right? And that's this one down below. This, let's say, 1, this is 1, and this is 2. Now, let's rewrite what we have, and let's check what we can cross out. So if we rewrite this first algebraic fraction, we'll have x plus 5. 4x, take away 1, over 3x minus 4, and 3x plus. Okay, so this comes from here, and this comes from here. Right? Now times, we still have those two, so 3x, take away 4, and x plus 4. Alright, now we can cross out some things, so x plus 5 and 3x take away 4. So simply, our final answer would be 4x minus 1 over 3x plus 4.